What's going on, future billionaires? In this video, I'm actually going to go over how I failed my prop firm challenge with TopTier. Yes, I failed. And it is actually okay. It happens. It's not a matter of how you start. It's more of how you finish, right? So before we even get started into the video and me giving you some tricks and tips on how you can avoid failing your prop firm challenge, right? Make sure you hit that big red subscribe button right here, okay? Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button, right? We are close to 150 subscribers and me going on to doing the one chip challenge, right? Do you want to see me a little bit of pain? You know, something a little fun for the channel, right? So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Yes, I know what you all are thinking. You failed the prop firm challenge? How could you? All your videos are about trading. It actually happens more than you think, right? Not everything is going to be a success story and just go straight up like that, right? Along your journey, especially when it comes to trading, it's going to look more like this, right? It's going to have highs, it's going to have lows. It's going to have highs, it's going to have lows, right? Just kind of like market structure, right? Higher highs, higher lows, so on and so forth. So with that being said, here is how I failed my prop firm challenge. All right, guys. So right here is pretty much how I failed my prop firm challenge. And I always like to be very transparent with my audience and just in general when it comes to trading. Like I said earlier, not everything is going to be a smooth ride up, right? You're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs. The most important thing about this is make sure you learn your lesson so it doesn't happen again, right? So I'm going to go over the chart that actually made me blow my challenge. Not only that, I'm going to give you a couple things that I've done wrong when, unfortunately failing this challenge. So that way you don't go through that. Okay. So right here, as you can see, we have a huge drop right here. Let's go ahead. So we got a huge drop on US 30 right here, which is about 700 to 800 point drop, right? We had a big drop. Now, this was obviously due to over here where it's CPI and due to inflation, right? Early in the morning, it ended up being 6.6% inflation rate. As you know, anything above 2% is nuts. It's insane, right? So CPI actually is what made the market tank, right? And look how far it tanked. It tanked damn near 800 points, right? If we just go ahead and just do the quick math, right? Or even just take out the ruler from the top all the way to the bottom right here, about 895 point move, right? Now, with that being said, it was a very big drop due to CPI, right? So market structure was already broken, right? We had, higher highs, higher lows, right? If we go to the higher time frames, as you can see here, actually I was on the 15-minute time frame. And as you can see here, we had good structure on the upwards, right? We had higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and kind of just consolidating a little bit choppy in the middle. But for the most part, it looked like it was just going up, right? Then we had this huge move down, right? Which everyone thought, okay, bears are in control. Inflation is through the roof, right? So my idea, I did unfortunately miss that 8:30 candle because it happened like this in 2 minutes. Barely enough time to react, right? So what I was doing was waiting for a pullback. And this right here is kind of how the market started to play out, right? Going up and down. Let's go ahead and actually go into the 5 minutes, right? And then just pause it right here, right? I got in at this exact moment right here. Got in at this exact moment right here where it hit, my quarterly forecast resistance where it used to be support, right? So I got in there thinking, you know what, it's gonna go in our direction. This is the break and retest, right? If you know, you know. If you don't, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel so that way you're in tune with the lingo, right? So this was more of a break and retest, thinking that bears are going to take control, right? So and let's play it a little further and then just kind of look what ends up happening, right? I was in profit here like maybe $800. And then before you know it, it just took off, right? It took off so fast. I didn't get time to react. And then before you know it, I was emotionally attached to the trade when I knew I should have been out of it by then. and just kept holding it. And that's essentially what ended up blowing my account, right? Or blowing my challenge. So it just shot through the roof, right? So although, it shot up, 800 points down, it ended up going 1,500 points in the opposite direction after, right? So CPI was the cause of the drop. Everybody thinking it was going to be a downtrend, break of structure, break and retest to continue down. And it actually did the quite opposite. It just took off, right? I didn't have enough time to react. And this is pretty much the trade that blew my account for TopTier, right? And if you don't know what TopTier is a prop firm that pretty much gives traders money to trade for them as long as they're able to pass two-phase challenges, right? So with that being said, unfortunately, I did fail it. I do have some with FTMO. I do have an account with FTMO. Actually, I passed both verification and the challenge. I'm still currently funded with them. So I decided to try something new with a different prop firm and kind of just test all different prop firms out, right? So unfortunately for this one, even though it looked crystal clear and I was up about $800, which most of us would have been like, dude, you were up $800. Why not pull out of the trade? There's a lot of things that go into it, and I'm actually going to touch into these points now. But first, I wanted to touch on the actual chart work of it, the technical analysis as to why I decided to do what I did, and pretty much how it went the opposite direction, right? So with that being said, that was the technical analysis side to it, right? How I essentially blew the TopTier account. And now I'm pretty much going to go over a couple things that I personally did wrong, right? The important thing about trading is that first, no one is forcing you to trade. No one is going to hold you accountable but you. You have to hold yourself accountable for every single move or every single trade you take, right? You cannot blame the banks. You cannot blame the United States. You cannot blame anyone, right? Because at the end of the day, no one is asking you to trade. No one is saying, hey, you have to go trade, right? We do it because we feel it's very lucrative and we want to win back our time, right? So with that being said, here's a couple things that I messed up on personally, and I have them written down just because, again, I'm a student of the game, right? I want to learn every single thing I do wrong to correct it, but I also want to keep learning to increase my knowledge to then become a better trader, right? Because that's the end goal for me. I want to be the best trader I can possibly be. While some people are thinking making a few hundred, I'm thinking I want to make six figures in a day, eventually working up to seven figures months, right? That's my goal, a little, a little nugget, right? So let's continue going on. So one of the first things is I felt like I rushed my entry a little bit instead of waiting to see what the market is going to do. It could be a little debatable based on my entry because it was flat out market structure, break and retest, getting where it used to be support as resistance for the sell, right? I felt like I personally rushed. I could have waited a little bit just to see where it would go, kind of calm down because the momentum was shooting up. It was shooting up. It was going crazy, right? But just in general, was rushing, right? I was rushing the challenge. I want everyone here to understand. We have 30 days to complete the first phase of a challenge. Whatever prop firm you use, we have 30 days. I know it says minimum 5 days, 7 days, 10 days. Give yourself time, right? If you can do it in 1 day, 2 days, 10 days, that's great, right? But understand that we have 30 days to complete this challenge. So you can literally just divide your profit days into those 30 days and try to get as much profit just to make it a little less stressful for you. So that's the first thing, right? Just rushing in general, trying to get the challenge out of the way, right? I was trying to get funded fast, and that's kind of what led to the downfall of it, which is okay. I'm going to go ahead and redo it, and I will show you, that certificate for TopTier. The next part of it, right, is the trend is your friend. So although I was somewhat in that trend, I could have been a little bit more patient to notice that the momentum has shifted from bearish to bullish, right? So I was trading technically a little bit against the trend just because of how momentum was going so fast. But just to keep that in mind, right? So make sure that you understand the trend is your friend. Now, the next thing that I felt that was holding me back and essentially led to me failing this challenge was I held my loser too long, right? And this comes from actually removing my stop loss, right? I was too emotionally attached to the trade, where I was up 800 bucks thinking, all right, if it goes to 800 bucks again, I'm just going to pull out and I'll be done for the day. I'll come back tomorrow. It's 800 bucks, right? Wrong. I was too emotionally attached, waiting for something to happen that technically might never happen, right? So I was holding on too long to a loser, removed my SL, and this is why SLs are important, right? The SL is going to do what sometimes you aren't capable of doing, right? The SL is, or getting out of a trade, is as simple as pressing an X. But you ask 100 traders how difficult it is to press that X on a loser, and they will all tell you it is hard, right? Because you're already too emotionally attached into the trade. Now, with that being said, SLs are important. Make sure you use SLs. If it hits your SL, that is okay. Move on to the next trade. Live to trade another day, right? So that was another mistake. I removed my SL and I held the loser longer than I needed to. Now, the next thing over here is what pretty much I felt that personally held me back from passing, this prop firm challenge with TopTier, was comparing myself to other traders, right? We look at other traders. I look at myself as a great trader, as a profitable and consistent trader, which I am. But sometimes I look at other success not as jealousy or envy, but as motivation. Oh, if he can do that, I know I can do that, right? And that's kind of what led to a little bit of a downfall, because now I'm seeing these traders, shout out to the Lambo Raúls, the Alex G's, the Q Banks, the Anthony Worlds. These guys make ridiculous amounts of money, right? And they're do it trading, right? But the thing is, I'm comparing my chapter 2 or 3 to their chapter 6, 7, 8, maybe even 10 years in the business or the industry trading, right? So I was trying to not really more so compete, but trying to get to their level. So while I'm making 1,800, 2,000 here, maybe 9,000 occasionally, they're making 20, 50, 60, 100K in a day, right? 60K days, 100K days. And I'm like, I know I could do that because they look like me and they're human just like me. There's nothing that separates us, just the amount of time they put into the charts, right? And that's what kind of feel like I led to my downfall. I was comparing myself and trying to push myself to that level too fast, right? It's nothing with looking at motivation to pretty much let you know that you can do this too one day, but understand that your time is coming. It just not may be your turn yet. So that's kind of what led to that as well. Just kind of wanting to get to that Lambo Raul status or that Q Bank status where I'm making 50K days, 100K days, right? So that kind of what led to the downfall of comparing myself. And then the very last thing, because I was so sure it was going in my direction, I over leverage. And I know what you guys are going to say. Omar, you preach not over leveraging on your Twitch stream all the time. How could you? Listen, I'm human. I'm human. All right. It happens. Sometimes I'm going to get a little ego. Sometimes I think it's going to go my direction. It happens, right? But the important part is I learned my lesson. I'm going to stick to my trading plan 100% because that is what leads to me passing all these prop firm challenges, right? And I passed 2 prop firm challenges with FTMO. I wanted to go ahead and try it, with traded what was TopTier, right? I wanted to go ahead and try it with TopTier just because that's a traders platform built by traders for traders, right? And nothing against FTMO. I love FTMO. FTMO changed my life, but I wanted to try other prop firms just to see what was out there. So again, I did over leverage and bad, right? So just a couple things that led to my downfall in regards to failing the challenge. Now, with that being said, let's just go over a quick recap so that way the tips pretty much not to fail your challenge, right? So I will put the descriptions below of all challenges that I'm currently taking now, so that way you could go ahead and try it out as well. I'm going to go ahead and put my Telegram link as well, where I do drop every single trade that I take. So if you do decide to take it with me, that's okay. But just understand I'm not a financial advisor, so please read that description below. Now, recap, right? No rushing. Take your time. It's going to be okay. Relax. We have 30 days on the first challenge, 60 days on the second phase. Take your time. No rushing, right? Next thing is trade with the trend. The trend is your friend, The trend is your friend. If it's going up, I'm going up. If it's going down, I'm going down, right? Do not try to be the trend maker because we do not have enough money to do so, right? It takes banks to move the market. We are not a bank, right? So we move with the market. The trend is your friend. Holding losers too long, and that's simply because no SL. So make sure you have an SL. And comparing yourself. It is okay to look at people for motivation, but do not compare yourself. This person's journey is not my journey, right? My journey is my own, and I must travel in my own path. I will look at these people for motivation, but I will not compare myself to them. And the easiest way and the best quote that I can come with, comparison is the thief of joy, right? So don't compare yourself to other traders. Your journey is your journey, their journey is theirs. Enjoy your process. And then the last thing, don't over leverage. Stick to your trading plan and you will be okay, right? So with that being said, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If this video helps you out, make sure you hit that like button, and I will see you guys on the next video.